What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So I thought for this video today, we do a few hot laps around the Top Gear test track in a few different cars, see how fast I can go, and see what it's like to drive like a bunch of different things. So I think we'll do about maybe four to five different cars. There won't be any like open wheeler stuff. I don't think it'll mainly just be like road cars, which they've had on the show. But I think we'll just get right into the action. Okay, so here we are. So the way this is going to work is essentially we're going to do a car, and then every time I do a new car, that car is going to be faster than the previous one, and then I'm going to keep going until the cars get really fast. But the first car we have here is an Abarth 595 SS, very, very slow. So we'll get into it, gonna hit drive, gonna rev it up, gonna turn the game up a bit more, and we're gonna go, and pulling away very slowly, up to second gear. Doesn't even look like we're gonna hit 100 kilometers an hour. As we go down the first sort of straight, it's more of like a double kink. But not getting to 100 kilometers an hour. We're going to get to the 100 board. Now we're just going to get a small dab at the brakes on the way in, as it's got no turning either. Through the first corner, getting a little bit twitchy. Going to shift down to second and then third again. As we go left of the tyres for Chicago. As we go past the plains, I'm going to get way out of shape. Down to second gear. And this is probably the easiest car to commentate because it does everything in a slow motion, basically. But as we head down the sort of back straight, we go past some of the tyres on the right. We're going to brake before the 50 board, down to second gear, for hammerhead, clip that white line, and then past the cone, as it's going to get very out of shape. And then out of the corner we go. Up to third gear. Now we're going to swing all the way out to the left. And this next corner, I think, should be flat. This is where the bravery comes in. Yet turning in, easy flat. Only now just doing 100 kilometers an hour. As we get up to the follow through. For the second time, through we go. 105 kilometers an hour. We're going to swing all the way out to the right as we go past the landing bollards. And I'm not going to shift up because now we're going to start braking. As into the penultimate corner. There we are. Nicely through. And then through Gambon. And then out of the corner we go. And the first lap, it's going to be a 2:07.215 there. So, an incredibly slow time for the 595 SS. Okay, so here we have our second car. This is a Honda S800. Again, not too quick. I mean, it looks pretty cool, but it's still not fast, but it's a bit faster than the Abarth. This has, I think, 72 brake horsepower. The Abarth only had 32. But we'll get going here, and it makes a nice noise, but we're going to rev it up. We're going to get it in gear, and off we go. And yeah, it's still not fast, but a hell of a lot faster than the Abarth 595. Already at 100 kilometers an hour, which is more than the Abarth could have done. But as we head down to the first corner, I'm going to start braking about here, which means we swing out. Then we got to cut back, and out of the corner we go. That was nice and controlled from the Honda. Cutting back for Chicago. I'm going to shift down to second gears, getting a little bit out of shape, and revving it up to third gear. Passing 100 kilometers an hour as we head down the main part of the runway here at Dunsfold Aerodrome. As we go past the 100 board, gonna brake about here, gonna downshift about once for hammerhead, nice and controlled on the way through. So the Honda S800, a lot more well behaved. As up to third gear, swinging out to the left. Now again, this corner before the follow through should be flat, but I guess we'll just have to see. Is turning in now. I haven't lifted just yet, and no, it's easy flat on the way through. We're going to get up to fourth gear, and then through the follow through past the tyres as we turn left, swinging out now as there's the 100 board on the left before the penultimate corner, clipping that apex. Now just gambon to go, getting it turned in and across the line. It's a 148.459, so a lot faster than the Abarth 595. I'll be leaving leaderboards at the end of each run to show you the difference in times. But there you go, there is the Honda S800 around the Top Gear test track. Okay, so here we have our next car, the Mazda Miata, or MX-5. You could call it either one. I'm sure everybody knows this one. So this one, again, a lot faster than the Honda S800 with 132 brake horsepower. But that's all I can really say about this car. I don't know too much. It's got pop-up headlights. That's about it. But we'll get into it. And we're going to rev up our Mazda. And away we go. And flying off the line compared to our last two cars. As we head on our way towards turn 1. Up to 130 kilometers an hour. Past the 100 meter braking board. We're just going to get it turned in. And extremely controlled through there. As out of the corner we go. Cutting it back. Just getting it down into second gear. And then out of Chicago we go. I'm going to take a little bit of a straighter line down the back straight, but already tracking nicely against the Honda S800. And past the 100 board, now we're going to get on the brakes. Bit of a lock up, bit of a slide on the way into Hammerhead as we go past the cones. And revving out. Up to third gear as we come out of Hammerhead now. Got purple sectors obviously. And turning it for the 50 board, we'll see if it's flat. This isn't going to be flat. I'm going to lift there. So that is our first car of the video, which is not flat through Hammerhead. Not through Hammerhead, through the entry to the follow through. But then through the follow through we go. Swinging out to the right hand side. Getting to the 100 board. Downshifting to third gear. And getting it turned in for the penultimate corner. Oh, dipping a wheel on the grass there. And then just gambon left. Getting a bit of oversteer on the edge. But it's a 141.522. So I think that is 7 seconds faster than the Honda S800. But there you go. Mazda Miata around the track. Okay, so here we have our next car. This is going to be a massive jump at about 100 brake horsepower to the Alfa Romeo 4C coupe sporty sedan thing. But okay, so here we are. We're going to rev up the gear, rev it up the engine, and we're going to go. And instantly we see the acceleration. This is our first car with paddle shifters in this video. But as we race along the first straight and towards turn 1, as we have to wait quite a while, or as fully drifting through turn 1. That was insane. I for sure thought we were going to spin there. But down to third gear for Chicago, and then to second for the exit, and now we're going to floor on the way out, and fourth gear as we head down the back straight. Up to Hammerhead we go, braking at the 100 board. And then down to second gear. And this is just blowing everything out of the water. That we've done before this. as we build up the massive speed. We're going to brake here, actually, for the corner before the follow-through. That was the right thing to do. As we get to the follow-through, just going to dip a wheel there in that little gutter. But as we fly out, nearly hitting 200 kilometers an hour, and we're really going to have to slam on the brakes. As into the penultimate corner we go. Gonna dip a wheel on the grass. Second gear for Gambon. And then nearly 100 kilometers across the line, and it is a 1:24.952, which is about 20 seconds faster than the Miata, so that is a huge jump. Okay, so now we've only got, we're going to do 3 more cars in this video, but the next one here, we have the 2015 Ford Mustang, which I think will be a worthy competitor to the Alfa Romeo 4C. But we're going to click drive. This one is going to be back to our sequential shifter. We're going to rev it up, and off we go, getting a lot of wheel spin. Now I think this will be the most comparable car to the Alfa Romeo, but we're going to see if it's faster or not as we race down to turn 1. Third gear on the way in, and just not turning in and having to shift down extra just to get the rotation. But already it's not faring too well around this track. It just doesn't turn in. It's got the legs in a straight line, but it might not even have the legs in a straight line compared to the Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo just nimble, so it's more nimble, it's more light, and it's less of a tank compared to the absolute behemoth which is this Mustang. But out of Hammerhead we go. That wasn't too bad. Up to 4th gear. This is going to be a definite lift on the entry to the follow through, as even with a lift it's struggling to turn in, as now we get to the follow through itself, even lifting through there. Up to 5th gear, getting to the 100 board, shifting down for 3rd, into the penultimate corner, getting a wheel on the grass, and then 2nd gear for Gambon, and across the line. It's a 1:28.596, so slower than the Alfa Romeo 4C, and the 4C currently holds the fastest lap. Okay, so now we have something, properly nuts. We have the Caterham, that says Lotus 211, but this is the Caterham, I think it's called the R700 Superlight. This thing it's an absolute monster. If you look at the lap the Stig did around with this car, you can see him really like wrestling it. But now it's my turn to have a go, but we flat. As no, we've had a spin. Oh, I'm going to have to do this lap again. So here we are, ready to start our lap in the Caterham Superlight. We're going to rev it up, and off we go. And we instantly see how this car just dumps its horsepower into the ground and takes off up the road. And now braking for turn 1, braking a bit early, but we just want to make sure we're getting through okay. Down to 2nd gear. And then it takes off again on the exit of the corner, down into Chicago. We're going to go back to 2nd gear as we turn in for that apex. And up to 4th. And the reason why this car is so fast is its power to weight ratio. It has about, if I'm not mistaken, about 600 horsepower, but it only weighs about 650 kilos. So that's nearly, I don't want to do the conversion, but it's a hell of a lot of horsepower per ton. As we come out of Hammerhead now, this is most definitely going to be a lift on the entry. Yes, it is. But now we get to go flat as just correcting the car all the time. As we go through the follow through, clipping the grass a bit and twitchy on the way out, up to the 100 board. A lock up on the way into the penultimate corner. And then planting the throttle for Gambon now. And through we go. And that is a blisteringly fast time, a 1:20.084. So about, I think, 4 seconds faster than the 4C. And we have I think, a new leader. Okay, so here we have our last proper car of the video. You'll see what I mean in about 2 minutes, but here we have the Lotus Exige S Roadster, so convertible, no roof, with about 345 bhp. So here we are for our Lotus, back with the paddle shifters. We're going to rev it up, and we're going to go away from the start-finish line, climbing up the gears to third. It's not as fast, I don't think, as the Caterham in a straight line, as we can see. It's down into turn 1. We're going to get a big oversteer moment. Down to second gear, try and save it. It's going to be a big power slide on the way through, and it's a brilliant save from us. As we get to Chicago, braking and turning in for second gear, and now we're going to rev it out as we now head down the back straight on the approach to Hammerhead, climbing up to 185 kilometers an hour. Now we're going to slam on the brakes, down to second gear, as in we go, and out of the corner, up to third gear. That was nice and controlled compared to turn 1. Up to fourth gear, getting to the 50 board, we're going to turn in with a big lift. I'm going to get a very small slide going, bit of a four-wheel drift, but through the follow-through we go. And I'm going to have to take a small lift there as well. As up to the penultimate corner, we're going to downshift to third gear, and we're going to catch a big slide, as we're not really going to save it. And we're going to get back on the track, and that's going to cost us a lot of time. And what time is it? It's a 1:26.586, so about the same as the Mustang, but that was my third try. So I think we'll leave the Lotus here. Just a bit of a nightmare to drive in that final 2 corners. But that was the last real car. Now I'm just going to put it in a little bit of a treat for everybody. But here we have something just a little funny. I thought we would take an F1 car around. So this is the 1991 Jordan F1 car, driven by Michael Schumacher for one race, but mainly driven by Roberto Moreno. Alright, so here we are at the start line with our Jordan. As you can see, you know, this is going to have a lot of power. We're just going to see how fast this is, how much it will destroy everything else. But revving it up into first gear, and quite slippery off the line, but it's going to dump its power now, as on the way to turn 1 we go. Down to third gear, getting it turned in, and nearly up to 200 kilometers an hour as we head into Chicago. No car has come anywhere near that so far. Now this should demolish everything else in a straight line, as up to Hammerhead we go. Second gear, turning it in, and yeah, just rinsing everything, putting its traction down as we go up to fifth gear. This is not going to be flat, so I'm going to have to take a big lift. But through the follow-through we go now. That was easily flat as we get up to the 100 board. Into the penultimate corner. Down to second gear. And across the line. And it's a 103.029. And that was a hell of a lot faster than everything else before it. It demolishes the Caterham. But that will do it for these hot laps, everybody. Well, that will do it for this video, everybody. Hopefully you all enjoyed. I know I had a great time filming this. Took us a few goes for some of the cars, but that's okay. But yeah, that'll do it for this. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Take care, have an awesome day. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.